Salute, Band-Aid gang. What's going on? It's your boy C-Dub, Mr. I ain't said a word, but you know what I'm saying. And I said, damn. It seemed like the news just changing every day, gang. And you know what we do? We change right along with it. We change right along with it. Y'all know the routine. We run YouTube, and that's just what it is. Y'all double tap my screen. What up, peanut butter face? What's up, gang? We got the Diamond Gang up in here. We got the real Angel in here. What's going on, gang?
Hey, Dubs. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Y'all get up in my live. Salute to George. What's up, gang?
Hey, George. Good morning.
We got some new breaking news, y'all, and it's sad. Y'all see what they doing? They nervous, y'all. What happened to our freedom of speech? Tell me what happened to our freedom of speech. Double tap my screen, gang.
Good morning, nurse.
What happened to our freedom of speech? Y'all double tap that screen. They done locked up Don Lemon, gang. They done locked up Don Lemon, gang. They trying to hide the narrative. Because they know that we be watching everything about these Epstein files. They trying to hide the Epstein files, gang. Because you know what? Maxwell down there, she finna talk. Maxwell finna talk. And you know Maxwell finna talk. She talking now. Soon as Maxwell start talking, they go lock up Don Lemon and go mess with Georgia Ford into that girl house. Now they messing with the people that come and journalize what's going on and documenting these streets, and they done got scared. I said, damn. But we run YouTube. We like Don Lemon. Justice for Don Lemon, gang. Justice for Georgia Ford, gang. Justice for Renee Good. Justice for Alex Preddy. Y'all double tap my screen. These people trying to play with us. They trying to take our freedom of speech away. Y'all get up in here. We finna rock a show, man. This stuff is crazy, man. These people crazy, man. These people crazy. This don't make no sense at all. Because he went inside a church? Because he went inside a church? Y'all must be out y'all mind. They done arrested Don Lemon, y'all. They done arrested Don Lemon. Y'all get up in here. Double tap my screen, man. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. Double tap our screen, Band-Aid gang. We going in. Mind y'all watch the dope. They trying to mess with my YouTube. They trying to play with my YouTube. Y'all get up in here. Real YouTubers out here covering this, man. It's the same what they done to Don Lemon. Y'all get up in here. They trying to sabotage my YouTube. This is the same thing that was happening to this other CC. Double tap that screen, gang. They want to control the narrative. But we ain't gonna let them, Band-Aid gang. Not today, we not. Not today. Not today, we not. Not today, we not.
Gotta go turn it out of it.
They trying to play with our YouTube. Let's go, gang.
And to a Fox News alert, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bill Malusian.
They trying to sabotage our YouTube.
And to a Fox News alert, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bill Malusian.
Look what these people doing, gang. They trying to sabotage my YouTube. We got 10 in the building. These people want to see me cover this. Because they know. Double tap that screen. YouTube know. Double tap that screen. We gonna get to it.
Tell everybody to
Hold tight, gang.
Bill.
Let's
Yeah,
go,
Charlie,
man.
good morning to you. Our colleague David Spunton and I getting this breaking news from multiple law enforcement sources just minutes ago, confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with that storming of a church in St. Paul.
They trying to say he stormed the church, but they ain't gonna lock up none of them ICE agents for unaliving Alex Pretty. What happened to our freedom of speech? Let's go, gang.
Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting that perhaps.
So it's ones that they didn't want to sign off for nothing on Don Lemon to be arrested. Y'all see what they do, man? Now, pay attention, gang. Let's go.
The feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel. Now, typically, standard procedure with an arrest like this is the defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day. So there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his first court appearance in Los Angeles sometime today. But obviously, this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest. The woman in the middle there is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is a.
You're gonna involve Don Lemon in that mess. Don Lemon, they clearly let Don Lemon come inside that church and interview that man. Now they want to involve him and wrap him up in a tangle. I said, damn. What happened to freedom of speech? Everybody seen what happened. Y'all see the big distraction? This is all a distraction, Band-Aid gang. This all a distraction, people. Let's go, man.
Online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as the woke farmer. Those were the 3 people that the feds had already arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it that spread and drew widespread condemnation. The feds have been going after these people on Facebook.
Why they go after Don Lemon? Does anybody know why they go after Don Lemon? Look, insecurity amongst citizens, EJ said. What's going on, gang? I see you. I see you. Nurse 59, I see you. This is crazy, y'all. They trying to take away our freedom of speech, but again, this is all a distraction of the Epstein file. Maxwell is talking. Do your research. We finna cover that. Maxwell talking, gang. Maxwell finna talk. She say 25 people settled out. 25 people settled out. They trying to hide them names. Y'all see what everything happened? How they throw up another distraction to show y'all, man, this man, come on, gang. We already know what's going on.
Act violation. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about the potential charges here, a court appearance, we'll, of course, update our viewers, guys.
Really appreciate it. Of course, if it was a grand jury that did indict him, that's pretty unimpeachable. Bill Melugin, thank you so much.
Yep. Y'all hear what he
I'm
said?
Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Unimpeachable. We finna go to the Don Lemon network. We finna go talk to his network. We want to see what his network covering. Cause see his network talking right now. They live. Let's go, gang. Let's go over here. Thank y'all for joining. Double tap my screen, gang. We going in. These people trying to hide anything they can. This man do not want to get out of office, just stealing money. For what? Stealing
the University
money.
of St. Augustine is the best place for students.
Let's get straight to it, man.
Around midnight, and he has released the following statement through his attorney, Abby Lowell. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time.
And you free to your expression, like he should be free to his expression of speech. Just don't say the wrong thing,
The Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and
we got
resources
16 in the building. Double tap my screen, guys.
And that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand.
Don heard it. It's not gonna stand, gang. Because the people not standing for it
in court. I see many of you saying free Don Lemon, and of course that's what we are demanding, that he be released immediately, and we want these charges dropped. I'm not here by myself this morning. There are so many experts who we've come to count on during the time that Don has been here on the Don Lemon Show, the Don Lemon channel on YouTube, and one of them is Charles Coleman.
This Don Lemon channel right now, gang. We learning live direct.
My brother, he's a former prosecutor. He's a frequent commentator. MSNBC and
Let's
elsewhere.
hear from the professional.
Welcome, Charles. Good morning.
Good morning, Monique. Thanks for having me.
Well, Don's having us, Charles.
This is true. This is true.
And what an odd time for us to be in. We actually on this show a number of times in the past couple of weeks have had the conversation about this very thing. We've discussed what this started with in Minnesota, which was a group of protesters, not Don, who's a journalist, not Georgia, who's a journalist, a group of protesters staged a pop-up protest at a church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And
all Don Lemon was doing was documenting, journalizing what's going on that scene. And this all backfires on him. Let's go.
Don was covering that event, covering the news story. And now we find that Don has been arrested and, according to the DHS, charged under 18 U.S.
Double. We apologize, y'all.
went to a grand jury. They were presented in front of a grand jury. And the reason that that's significant is because the federal government ran out of options effectively when they went to a magistrate judge and they could not secure an arrest warrant, and then they appealed that, and they could not have that appeal granted. And so their attempts to go through a magistrate judge in order to secure
double tap
an
that
arrest
screen
warrant were both denied, which left
Put a one
them
in the chat if y'all can hear
with
that.
very few options, which was to go in front of the grand jury. I had sort of thought about this as a former prosecutor because their options were limited. The thing about going in front of a grand jury that our audience needs to understand
Thanks, my boss.
you know, the old saying is very much so true that you can indict a ham sandwich. It is not difficult to get an indictment when you have a presentation in front of the grand jury. Speaking as a former prosecutor, and one of the reasons why, for
crazy,
people who don't
y'all.
know that, is it's a secret proceeding. It is a proceeding that is effectively run by the prosecutor. There is no magistrate there. There is no judge there. There is no arbiter. It is basically the prosecutor presents whatever facts they choose to present. The defendant has a right in most cases to testify, but in most cases will not testify. The defense attorney cannot ask any questions or be present if their client is not testifying. And so no one actually knows what was said, who presented, what witnesses they presented, what evidence the grand jury saw. And so all of those things create a very comfortable environment.
See, Don Lemon been putting that pressure on them, and they can't take that pressure.
I want to read two of the statutes.
Don Lemon full effect on his own network and making his own money. They can't take that pressure.
U.S. Code, 18 U.S. Code 241. If anyone...
They can't take that pressure. Double tap my screen, man.
Intimidate anyone in the
We got 20
States
in the building. Double
free
tap the screen,
exercise
gang.
or
We about to
enjoyment
run it up.
of any constitutional or statutory right. Violations can result in fines up to 10 years in prison or up to life imprisonment or death if certain serious crimes result. The other statute that appears that Don was charged under is 18 U.S.C. Section 248, which is known as the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances, or the FACE Act of 1994.
And they know this
is a
already.
federal law that prohibits the use of force, threat of force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, or interfere with anyone obtaining or providing reproductive health services or exercising First Amendment rights at a place of worship. So that last statute was intended to protect people who are seeking reproductive care or to exercise their right, what had previously been a right to abortion and abortion clinics primarily, and then the First Amendment piece around houses of worship had been added on, and the first piece was essentially about obstructing the ability for people to go and worship. Again, I want to stress to viewers that regardless of what the statutes say and regardless of what we may have
Now
seen
listen,
in
this is what they
various
say, gang.
videos, we do not know how the prosecutors in this case framed the facts in front of this particular grand jury that returned the indictment. What I will say, before we go further, Monique, is that I think, however, it is telling. MS Now reporter Carol Linning earlier today confirmed that there were career DOJ prosecutors in both Minnesota, where this took place, as well as in Los Angeles, where Don was arrested.
I think we have that if somebody can put it up.
Who refused
Now
to
listen, gang.
participate in the arrest and the indictment and the prosecution of this case because they felt like the evidence didn't match the facts. And so that only affirms for me a previous notion that I've had, which is part of the punishment is the process. It is
So we're gonna see what this
it is
says.
to sort of embarrass Don Lemon. It is to embarrass
We're pulling
the
it up right
journalists
now.
who are associated with Don Lemon in such a way that they are not willing to continue to go forward. And I think that that's a very significant thing. Georgia Fort as well. Another journalist
arrested
as part of doing their job, exercising their right to freedom of the press. And so when you have career prosecutors who are saying that the evidence does not support the charges in 2 different cities, 2 different offices, that is extremely telling as to the strength of this case. But again, the strength of the case is not the conversation for the DOJ and for those who are pushing this. It is making the process and its difficulty the punishment for Don and for Georgia.
Right, and what they will learn is that they're just going to strengthen the resolve, not just of
I think they just want a reaction,
like Don
everybody.
or Georgia, who have been doing
and
this
plus
for
an action
years,
comes
and are a credit
with a
to their
distraction.
profession, but they're strengthening the resolve of the public because everyone who's seeing this is reacting,
Exactly.
understanding
I
that
just
this
said
is
it.
wrong, and that if there was ever some line to be crossed, then
Everything I said happened. What happened with Alex Preddy? Everything I said happened. That he was targeted. This was a target too, gang. This was a target too. This was a target. Georgia Fort was a target. And we watching it all play right in motion. Let's go,
then
gang.
we've crossed it. But there are no lines with this administration. I want to highlight a couple of things that you said, Charles.
They need to get him up out of that office,
in the
gang.
law all the time, the grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. The reason why we say that is because as a career defense attorney, one of the things I always knew is the grand jury belongs to the prosecutor. So unless they can't, and really, if they're trying to say Mickey Mouse was there, if they've got a sliver of anything to show it, they're going to get their indictment. And the reason is because the standard is lower. So sometimes the public is looking at it and they're thinking, well, there must be evidence because in a criminal case, you have to prove things beyond a reasonable doubt in order to get a conviction. And that is true for conviction, but that is not true to get an indictment. And so whoever they found, because these career DOJ prosecutors wouldn't do the job, and we've seen prosecutors quit their jobs in DC, we've seen them quit their jobs in Minnesota, U.S. Attorneys, career
because they
members
know
of
what
that
they're doing
office
ain't right.
have their jobs. And so it's like many other things in this administration, Charles, where they have to go down the line until they get somebody who doesn't have scruples.
There you go.
Who doesn't have any integrity. Sometimes they have to go out and hire folks off the street, and that's how they get somebody to
and then we seen them do that, and we seen them people do that in Minneapolis when we showed y'all the paid actors, when we showed y'all the acting scene. We showed you how they do. They bring in these cool people. These people be paid. I saw somebody another over there in the chat say they was bringing AI. This stuff here ain't no AI. The stuff that you seen that happened to George Preddy, that wasn't no AI, gang. This shit real life, man. We know the difference between AI. Now they gonna take that shit to a different level, but you know we gonna be standing there waiting on them. Let's go, Band-Aid, gang.
To your knowledge, what will the next steps be?
So, at the point that the indictment is read in open court, there will be an initial plea entered by Don. I fully expect that it will be not guilty. And at that point, the judge will make a decision as to any bail if the DOJ asked for bail. I can't imagine that Don would be remanded. I can't imagine that bail would be exorbitantly high. Don is not at all. And for people who are not certain as to how bail is set, the notion of bail is to make sure that someone has an incentive to return to trial.
Of course he's going to go not guilty. We know he's not guilty.
Clearly has every interest in fighting these charges that he absolutely, I imagine, through his lawyers will be eager to exonerate himself or have himself exonerated from these accusations. And he's like one of the most recognizable faces in journalism, if not media, across the country. He's not at all a flight risk. So I can't see bail being set here. And if it is, I certainly can't see it being high. That being said, after that, he will be released and they will be scheduling around the next phases of the case, discovery, pretrial motions, and things of that nature. I anticipate that there may be a case that is being built here, and we've talked about this before, Monique, for
y'all getting here
alleging malicious prosecution.
Yeah, it's an LA County jail.
It would not entirely surprise me to see that
They arrested
his
him
attorneys
at the
consider
Grammy Awards,
filing a
gang.
motion
At
for
the
malicious
Grammy
prosecution. And
Awards,
here's
I
why.
said, damn.
This is where the MAGA machine, the MAGA media machine, comes back to bite itself, because it is very uncharacteristic to have government officials, particularly at the leadership level, so openly and so brazenly talk about their intentions and how they intend to move forward with respect to investigations and prosecutions. And they've done that writ large with respect to Don Lemon around this. And so they have created their own very, very discoverable paper trail that's been out in the open, that they would literally have to stipulate to, that they, you know, came from official accounts on social media. And so now you have given people the tools to build this case for malicious prosecution.
You gotta ask yourself, is this the biggest deal? Is this, like, you know, the bigger deal? Like, is this very important? You know, we know Don Lemon is definitely, we're gonna cover it, but we know Don Lemon is gonna walk out of this without a scratch on him. Again, I see a distraction. Again, I see them trying to get journalists that are, you know, that got a huge following base that people listen to. We know that Georgia Ford, she the one that broke the George Floyd. So, you know, so it's just like almost just getting whoever to basically work for you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, Leo. Hope you subscribe to the channel. Yeah, it's you know, he gonna walk. We know that. This is just another distraction. Notice this is just another distraction. So, you know, again, like I always say, they hide money, they moving money, they shifting money, and it's just, you know, they don't want to bring these Epstein files out, which they are obligated. His administration, they have to release the Epstein files. Gwen is talking. Maxwell is talking. Maxwell is talking right now. Low-key talking. See, that's, you know, I talked to my sister today, and she was like, you know, I think Epstein is not here. I said I think that he didn't go up. But now when you think about it, yeah, because if he was still here and he wasn't unalive, you know, he'll start talking. You see what I'm saying? So we just, and this administration needs to be up out of here, gang. So let's go ahead and see what we.
And not only that, Charles, but the chief judge wrote that letter that ended up being part of the public record. Correct. Where this DOJ was pressuring him. Like they couldn't get what they wanted out of the magistrate. Exactly. They demanded the chief judge do something about it, and we're saying, and today, we need you to do it today. And he had to go and explain how he has a child with special needs who he was caring for, and how there was no urgency, and how they expected him to respond to their appeal without even sending him the appeal. They didn't send him a courtesy copy of what was being appealed, but were demanding his response. And so that led to these three appellate court judges denying it, saying there was no urgent matter. We got 14
people. Please hit the like button, gang.
The judge said in his letter was,
double tapping the screen is hitting the like button.
Thank you. Violence here. There's no reason for all of this overreach. And that, along with what you're saying, is they're devoting all of these funds, all of this full power of the federal government on these journalists.
She talking fast.
And these people who were protesting, but for our purposes for today, on journalists.
So imagine
like
what they're gonna start
Georgia,
trying to do to YouTube.
Who were covering an event, and there's no one saying anything different. And in Don's case, he sat there and interviewed the pastor who was conducting the services that day. So to me, if you stand there and let me interview you, that's not me trespassing.
Well, Monique, from a legal standpoint, I think that dovetails exactly into my next point. Eventually, the rubber is going to meet the road here.
Exactly.
When you're talking about having to provide evidence that sustains these charges, at some point, you are going to have to put forth witnesses that corroborate facts and a timeline that isn't supported by the video that we have all seen repeatedly. You're going to have to sort of counter that. And that is where I say that for the DOJ, the punishment is the process. Yeah. Because the amount of evidence that they have, whether you're putting testimonial evidence up against video evidence and going to ask a jury in a court to sort of discern what makes most sense. Are you going to believe the testimony of someone who alleges that they were there and says, oh, something that you can't
So we're gonna
see
go back
on video, or you're going to
So
trust
what we gonna do, gang?
your own
We gonna go
actual
back.
eyes as you look at angle after.
We're about to look what happened to Georgia Ford at her house, gang. Y'all get in here. I'm gonna show y'all what happened to Georgia Ford when they come into her crib. Make sure y'all check out Peanut Butter Face. She'll be covering more into this. They come into Georgia Ford house, gang. Look, they come in her house, gang. Double tap that screen. Beating on her door with her children in the house like she a dope dealer or something. I said, damn. I got this downloaded, so make sure y'all double tap that screen. So she was on her Facebook Live yesterday. It should be in my photos, Angel. I downloaded it. I want everybody to check this out.
Photos is right there. Go back out.
Hold on, it should be in my videos. My messages.
You have to go out of that.
Hold on. Y'all get in here. No, it ain't in there. Because we just downloaded it, so I want everybody to see what happened. Wait for it. Back to my messages here. What happened here? Take a second right here to load up.
Yeah, because it's the browser.
Y'all double tap that screen, gang. It don't make no sense. This does not make any sense. Why are they attacking journalists? Because we know journalists, they cover stories and they got a huge following base. You know, so they basically trying to get them out the way. They trying to get Don Lemon, Georgia Ford, and ain't no telling who else they doing on the back end that they trying to get out. So they cover these stories because they know more information is going to be dropped when it comes to these Epstein files, man. They have to give them up. Do your research. G. Maxwell, she is talking. She is talking right now. She leaking information.
I can download the Facebook app if you want me to.
She is downloading information.
You heard me?
It should come in right. It should pop up. No, it didn't pop up. But we got information on what happened to her and how they're going to play her as well. So I'm about to get ready to play that too. If I can't get this information up here to show everybody. We got 20 in the building. Thank you guys for coming in. This is breaking news. What happened with Don Lemon being arrested. Again, like I said, I don't think it's going to be something really big. But, you know, it's capturing everybody's attention right now. Everybody is covering the story right now, trying to find out more information. But like I said, the app.
Play it then if the app is downloaded.
Okay, let me play it. Let me download this app real
Watching
quick.
the video, it'll be done. Download it then.
I'll go to her. What happened to her?
Okay.
Because her team is talking right now. Y'all please double tap the screen. Thank you guys for coming in. I do have it here. Let's go ahead and cover this, because we can get this up faster. Thank you guys. Please double tap that screen and hit that like button.
Okay, it's about to go.
Thank you guys for coming in.
I wanted to read something that I posted on my community post.
Cassidy, David Easterwood has condoned the conduct of ICE agents who have wreaked havoc upon the streets of Minneapolis, who have brutalized people, and who have murdered
You got a good point, gang. They want to silence the
all while
media
our government
and
tells
those
us
who
to
speak
wait
out
and be
against
patient. Minnesotans have been extremely patient.
And that's what I just said,
and
gang.
have exercised
I'm glad you came in.
restraint.
Did anybody read that comment?
With regard to
at the bottom, thank you for coming in, gang. He has a valid point right there. They want to silence the media and those who speak out against this administration. Next is taking away the Second Amendment. And there you go. What we tell y'all, gang, 60-something% of the not the Epsteins, excuse me, gang. Sorry about talking about Epstein, even though that's important. But the 2025 is in action, full effect. Let's go, gang. Double tap the screen. Thank you for that comment, gang.
the level of violence, brutality, terrorism, arrests that have happened, violence against women, kidnapping of children, and on that our community has been forced to endure. We are here today to say we will not be silenced, we will not be intimidated, and we, the people, will continue to show up with our whistles and our voices as they bring guns and munitions to level against innocent people. Had Governor Walz listened to us weeks ago, following the killing of Renee Nicole Good, it is possible that Alex Preddy might still be alive today.
That part.
Black organizers who have been on the front lines for many years trying to hold our government and law enforcement accountable for unwarranted state-sanctioned violence know this all too well. The government will look the other way in the face of oppression, abuse, and police brutality.
Absolutely.
ICE is no different. This is not only an immigration fight. This is a fight for police accountability. This is a fight for racial justice. This is a fight for our constitutional rights. And we must not forget that. We call upon the media to stop bowing to empire every time they put out a spin from the White House. That is a part of the problem. When we had the city's church protests, it was triumphant for the people because we took a stand by going directly to the power and saying this cannot stand. You cannot serve two masters, because the whole foundation of the gospel message is to love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And Minnesotans have been loving our neighbors and putting our bodies on the line, while ICE has been attempting to destroy our neighbors. And so as we had a triumph for the people,
and it's crazy that you say that, Keith Jackson. Detaining ICE camps for immigrants will be used for the next, those who oppose. And absolutely, that's, you know, we were seeing that when they were shutting down all these Walmarts. It was going to, a lot of these places they shut down, they're going to be jails, man. They're going to be jails. And it's crazy because, and it's crazy you make that because we don't actually, as the people, don't know how many people are being unalived in these camps. Children are separated from their parents.
Get them out of here.
Hey, get him out here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Let's go, gang. Get him out of here. Those remarks will not be tolerated in my life.
The moment the White House came out saying that they were going to conduct a so-called investigation, that became the headline.
Put a foot.
And that is a way of balancing.
Hey, put a foot on Footy and get Footy up out of my life. Don't come in here disrespect to trying to sabotage my channel. We don't care about no Diddy and none of that. Go get him up out of here. I'll get him up out of here. Yeah, ain't no problem. We'll get you up out of here. Don't come over here playing no games with us, gang. You up out of here. Double tap my screen.
Empire and silencing the voices of the people. It's unacceptable and it's unconscionable, especially to see our hometown media publications that know exactly what is going on here bow to empire and make a headline about JD Vance coming to town. Who gives a damn if he comes to town if he is part of the empire that is destroying our community? We need to amplify the voices of the people who are out there in the freezing cold, day in and day out.
How do you amplify the voices of the people? I ask everybody. How do you amplify the voices of the people? Through social media. Through people like Don Lemon. Through people like Georgia Ford. People like people here on YouTube. So in some kind of form and fashion, they're going to be doing anything to try to silence us and control the narrative. I don't know why, because shit, he up out of here. But a lot of people, they building this so his administration can stay in power.
Making sure that Minnesota does not yield to fascism,
see what's happening, gang.
authoritarianism, or tyranny. I stand before you today as someone who was arrested just 1 week ago, following statements from Kristi Noem and others that arrests were coming. A few of us, or at least 4 of us, went to stay at a local hotel just 8 minutes away from the federal courthouse in the event that arrest warrants were issued, so that we could work with our attorneys to turn ourselves in. When we found out that arrests were imminent based on media reports, then what we did was reach out to our attorneys and we asked them to contact the U.S. Marshals and the U.S. Attorney's Office to see if arrest warrants had indeed been entered. My attorney, Jordan Kushner, specifically made those calls, and he did not get answers regarding arrest warrants being issued. What followed after that was the FBI conducting surveillance upon us. As a matter of fact, they are still probably conducting surveillance upon us. They came to the hotel where we were staying, apparently looking for us, surrounding the hotel, and even doing a stakeout in the room across the hall from me. At one point in the middle of the night.
Wait a minute. Did she say they was across the room from her? Big Will, she said they got a room.
Many people with real stories, real truth, authentic themselves. No time for the fake story.
I opened the door to my hotel room. Well, I didn't open the door.
Look, y'all, I said, damn, they got a room? No, they can lock him up, gang, but he gonna get out? No, lock Donald Trump up.
But one of my friends opened the door to my hotel room to go to her room next door. As soon as she did, we saw a man run out of the hotel room across the hall from mine and started chasing her. And I closed the door and locked it because of the aggression that I saw and felt from that person, who turns out to be an FBI agent. There were multiple FBI agents in the room across the hall. And they tackled my friend in the hallway and were physically abusive towards her, manhandled her, bumped her head, and even caused a concussion. Why did they do this? Well, my suspicions at the time.
I agree with you, Keith Jackson. Just because the way you talk, you can be labeled as a domestic terrorist. Anything that's going against their narrative and their views, that's what they trying to make it. They trying to lock you up. They trying to silence you. This is giving them PCs like saying, I smell weed in the car when you don't even smoke. I said, damn, and you right, gang. Y'all get in here. Fat nasty Trump day is coming. I said, damn, I'm high like that right there, gang. We gonna pin that up. His day coming, gang. They trying to change the narrative to keep the eyes off the Epstein file. People, we keep saying it. Wait till the live I do, y'all. Gotta hit that notification bell, pay attention, because I'm finna drop some gems on you. I've been dropping gems all day. I told y'all what happened with Alex Preddy, that he was targeted. Go look at my lives about a week ago. Go look at my lives. I said that man was targeted. Everybody right now is starting to be targeted. This a damn shame. And then they got the AI. So now we might see some trickery coming with that AI, gang. I said, damn.
Were correct, because they thought she was me. Even though I am several inches taller than my friend, they thought she was me, and they were attempting to manhandle her. Now, mind you, I am a brain tumor survivor, someone who has had neurosurgery to stay alive. And these goons were willing to tackle and attack me in the hallway.
I said,
not
damn.
saying freeze, not saying you're under arrest, but acting like they were on a football field.
Did y'all hear what she said? They tackled this woman, gang. What did they do? What did they do to the woman that was with Alex Preddy? pushed her all the way damn near across the street. They tackling women. They ain't got no respect for none of these women, gang. I know, right, September Virgo? They done tackled the woman. Then tackle a woman. Pushed one all the way across the street and Alex tried to protect her. See, but a lot of us don't live in Minneapolis, so a lot of us don't really see how these ICE agents are treating these people. But we seen one. We was able to see what happened to Alex. We was able to see what happened to Renee Good. So it's a lot of things going on them back side streets, gang. Ain't no telling what's going on them side streets, how much mace they hitting them boys with in their face.
In regard to the brutality that they exhibited towards another black woman, again, thinking that it was me. That's absurd and it's unconscionable. And when I closed the door, I made sure to reach out to our attorneys and ask them to get to the hotel as soon as possible because we were under attack. And we did not know what lengths those FBI agents would go to. It's really sad that the hotel compromised our safety by cooperating with federal agents at the time and allowing them to set up a room next door. Now think about the lengths that the FBI went to. Think about the lengths that Homeland Security went to. Think about the lengths that the White House went to. An attorney like me misstated the law, claiming that federal agents knew after Renee Good was killed. They lied on her and claimed she was a domestic terrorist. The president captured
what she said again. Let's hear what she said again, gang. Let's hear what she said again.
The lengths that Homeland Security went to. Think about the lengths that the White House went to try to capture nonviolent protesters.
And why?
At a church.
And why?
Meanwhile, they have yet to conduct an investigation into the killing of Renee Good and the killing of Alex Preston.
Have yet to open an investigation, but quick to come attack the people on the street for the cameras. See, it's certain stuff they want you to see, and it's certain things that they don't want you to see. Let's continue. Thank you for the likes.
As a matter of fact, what did they do after Renee Good was killed? They lied on her and claimed she was a domestic terrorist.
Sure did.
The president of the United States lied on her and claimed that she tried to run over ICE agent Jonathan Ross. What did J.D. Vance do, an attorney like me? Misstated the law, claiming that federal agents had total immunity, and then tried to backtrack his statements after Alex Preston was killed.
I said, damn. That's important to hear that part. That's important. That's why they start coming in, because they don't want to hear that. It's sad. When they don't want to hear it, they come in. I said, damn. When they don't want to hear it, notice they come in.
Here we are, black women, nonviolent. Our only weapons are voices. Being treated like Hannibal Lecter. Being treated like a mass murderer. Tell me, where is the justice in that? And media, you have a responsibility, as I said before, because you all participate in spinning headlines and turning us into criminals.
Exactly.
Even though we are standing up for the poor, we're standing up for the vulnerable, we are standing up for the truth. Now let's talk about what happened when we got into the federal courthouse. So upon our arrest, let me backtrack. Upon our arrest, you saw that I was calm, cool, and collected.
Exactly.
When talking to the FBI.
Just like the lady that was pushed by ICE. She wasn't doing nothing. Why would that man approach that woman with that type of behavior and that type of anger? Ask yourself that question. Because again, what happened with Alex Preddy, it all started from that push.
Ask them specifically, why are you recording? And the response was, oh, it's not going on Twitter or anything. They asked me to record, which I thought was really odd. Thankfully,
we dropping gems right now,
on our side who were also recording. And the world got to see the truth. Following the White House, putting out a distorted image of me, crying and hysterical, exaggerating my features, and darkening my skin.
I said, damn.
That is what they did to O.J. Simpson, darken his skin. So this is a pattern. This is a part of caricaturizing Black people and trying to make people afraid by saying this is what will happen to you when you stand up against a corrupt, fascist, and authoritarian government. But you all see that I was not afraid. I did not back down. I stood in the spirit of my ancestors and Black women who for centuries have held it down despite state-sanctioned terroristic violence against us. So after that happened, once I was actually handcuffed and taken into custody, we got into the federal building, and there were marshals who were shocked that we were being arrested for protesting. They could not believe it, and they said so. When we got into court, as you can see, the magistrate judge ordered that Chantel Allen and I be released that same day. And the judge wound up, the magistrate wound up granting a request from federal prosecutors to give them a 1-hour stay in order for them to contest our detainment. In other words, they wanted to keep us in jail, even though the magistrate said that we could be released. So the judge said, you have 1 hour to submit. This type of stuff that we bring to you, because this type of stuff happening right now behind the scenes. People are speaking out. You have to speak out. The media is needed only when used properly. And they want to get the people that are using the media properly, that is speaking against their agenda, and locking them up. And there was supposed to be a hearing that afternoon. But you know what happened at the federal courthouse? Because we had over 150 supporters from the community who showed up, they closed the federal courthouse early. And 8 minutes after that 1-hour stay, they transported Chantel Allen and I into a vehicle by the U.S. Marshals and took us to the Sherburne County Jail. What? But they didn't just take us. Did y'all hear what she said? Now this is happening to small people because they don't think they have a voice, or they don't know what type of person that they dealing with. This administration needs to be out of here, and it's the second time that we have came at this administration. Come on, gang. This shit is ridiculous. Listen to what you gotta listen to what she's saying. They transported Chantel Allen and I into a vehicle by the U.S. Marshals and took us to the Sherburne County Jail. I said, damn. But they didn't just take us to the Sherburne County Jail. They used 3 different sets of restraints on us, as if we were hardened criminals and murderers. What was the restraints? What was these restraints? We had ankles, shackles on our ankles. What? We had belly chains around our waist. What? And we had handcuffs with bars in the middle. They was doing them like they was going to prison. In African American studies, that's like that's what they do. That's what they do to you when you go to prison. They were trying to MK Ultra these people. They was what? ICE is not vetted on who they hire. They just giving people $50K bonuses for minded people, Proud Boys, white nationalists, etc., to give them a license to unalive people. They look at us like animals. I said, damn. Good point, gang. Let me go ahead and pin that up. Y'all get in here. Keith, you killing them right now. The closest I ever felt to slavery in my life. Being shackled as if I was a slave. It is unacceptable and unconscionable, but it's on brand for a White House that specializes in cruelty, the New World brutality, order. Welcome to the New World Order. Once we got to the Sherburne County Jail, we were strip searched. We were placed in jail uniforms. We were locked in cells side by side. And I'm not even going to talk about what they tried to feed us that looked like mystery meat. That makes me sad for the people who are currently incarcerated and not even being fed decently for their survival. I didn't want to even use the restroom in my cell. Why? Because there's a camera watching your every move. This is in spite of going through x-ray machines and being strip searched where they know you have no conscience. Y'all ever wonder what they do with the women's stuff when they selling that stuff on the black market when they watching a woman use the bathroom? Now that's crazy. Watching you use the bathroom and selling it in some foreign country or to some rich pervert that was in the Epstein files. And And yet still there's a
That's
camera
what's
in your
going
room
on.
watching you with nothing else in there but a bed on cement and a metal toilet that doubles as a water fountain. So again, this was intentional on the part of the White House, on the part of the Department of Homeland Security, that allows murderers to go free. And as I said before, had our governor listened, when we said use your power to arrest the officer who killed Renee Good,
there we go.
he postured in front of the cameras and made excuses.
Uh-huh.
And now we have the execution of Alex Preddy on our hands.
Yeah, we go.
Now,
and now
what
the
did you all
lockup of
witness?
Don Lemon, gang. Let's go.
What looked like a gang initiation or a beating.
Exactly.
Let's call it what it is. I know the media says, oh, Alex Preddy died as a result of an immigration crackdown. That's too mild for what we are dealing with here.
Double tap my
It
screen.
is
We got her.
fascism and it is authoritarianism and it is brutality and an execution of an innocent person right in front of our eyes. If any of us had done that, we would have been demonized.
Yep.
We would have been under the jail.
Under the
But
jail.
what did the White House do?
Look at
They
what.
allowed
Look at what.
those murderers.
Look
It
at what
is
the white boy
fascism
back
and it
here.
is
Look at the white boy.
authoritarianism and it is brutality and an
Look at the white boy.
execution of an innocent person.
Look at the white boy in the back. Look, he know it's the truth. He know it's the truth. You see him back there shaking his head, gang, because he really know what would have happened to if that was an African American. Double tap my screen. These people, and it's beautiful to see people coming together in all races, because now this is bigger than this ain't no race war. It's us against the government. It's trying to control us and do what they want to do. And they're trying to plant fear in the people, in the citizens of the United States of America to hide their dirt. And that's what's going on, gang. Double tap my screen.
Of an immigration crackdown. That's too mild.
Hit my like
for
button.
what we are dealing with here.
Hit my like
It
button.
is fascism and it is authoritarianism and it is brutality and an execution of an innocent person.
Innocent.
Right in front of our eyes. If any of us had done that, we would have been demonized.
Look at the white boy
We would have
back
been
there.
under the
Look
jail.
at him.
But what did the White House do? They allowed those murderers to escape from the state of Minnesota.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then after the governor had a phone call with the president, he
But
tried
they locked
to
her
appease
up
the
for
people
talking.
by talking about the tone shifting. That's not enough. Who gives a damn if the president's tone shifts, if we still have an ICE occupation here in the state of Minnesota?
That's fine.
They should have been arrested. They still should be arrested, and there needs to be accountability. Thank you.
Double tap my screen. Double tap my screen.
Something that comes to mind for me.
Double tap my screen. Double tap my screen. Double tap that screen, gang.
You have to check this out. There's a new AI dog that just dropped, and it's essentially a real puppy minus the chaos, noise, and expense.
Now look who Trump responsible. Trump is responsible.
We have breaking news right now. The United States government, the Trump Justice Department, has arrested Don Lemon, a journalist, for his role in what they say are riots at a Minneapolis church. Arrested Don Lemon. We have breaking news right now. The United States government, the Trump Justice Department, has arrested.
Trump's Justice Department have arrested Don Lemon. Trump's Justice Department have arrested Don Lemon.
Don Lemon, a journalist, for his role in what they say are riots at a Minneapolis church, when in reality, as I've been saying for a long time, Lemon was just there as a journalist.
As a
trying to
journalist.
show the world what was happening inside of a church protest in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He was not engaging in, coordinating with, or protesting himself. And as a result, Lemon is now facing criminal charges in the federal court system, facing several years in federal prison. Don Lemon was taken into custody overnight, and I have the details for you right now. Let me tell you something. This is a very serious day in the United States of America. The Trump Justice Department is now going after journalists. make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The more you like, the more people see, and people need to see this.
Hit my like button.
And if you want to support my work, make sure to subscribe to my Substack by clicking the link below.
Let's go.
Right now, it has never been scarier to be a journalist based on this arrest alone. Don Lemon's attorney, Abby Lowell, released the following statement. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable.
That's freedom of speech.
There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest. And that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don Lemon will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. This is an unprecedented attack on the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. For the first time in the Trump administration, he has now arrested a journalist exercising his First Amendment right.
His First Amendment right.
The criminal charges against Don remain unknown, but I will tell you what they 99.9% are. They are going to be a civil rights related charge, and then possibly a FACE Act or Ku Klux Klan Act charge.
What?
And the charge is essentially interrupting or disrupting a church service. But if you look at the videos...
Now, Liz Jackson, Miss Liz says in the comment section, that's an abuse of power. Exactly. Abusing of power. Now, listen. Now, you heard it say the Civil Rights Act. Now, go ahead and listen to this, gang.
Remain unknown, but I will tell you what they 99.9% are. They are going to be a civil rights related charge, and then possibly a FACE Act or Ku Klux Klan Act charge.
Wait a minute, can somebody tell me what a Ku Klux Klan Act charge is? Miss Liz, can you tell people in the chat what is a Ku Klux Klan Act charge? I said, damn, they gotta, well then why didn't they use that on their ass then? I said, damn, they should have used the Ku Klux Klan Act charge. Somebody put the Ku Klux Klan Act charge in my chat. I said, damn.
The charge is essentially interrupting or disrupting a church service. But if you look at the videos that Don took while at that church service, he was there taking videos. He was there capturing content. He was there exercising his First Amendment right as a journalist, showing the world what was happening inside of that Minneapolis church. And it's exactly why previously a magistrate judge in the District of Minnesota rejected this exact same criminal complaint.
Me neither, September.
A Minnesota federal magistrate judge previously refused to sign a criminal complaint.
So that's going to be domestic terrorism. So the Ku Klux Klan Act charge is domestic terrorism, but they ain't get locked up for it. I said, damn.
Charging independent journalist Don Lemon in connection with the protests inside the church. Attorney General Pam Bondi at the time was furious, was enraged. And so they went and they tried to find other avenues to charge Lemon. But it prompted the following letter from a district judge in Minnesota.
I challenge you to a duel. Hope you've still got energy. Wow. Better luck next time, sugar.
Double tap my screen, gang.
I played for Super Bowls and never lost.
It's a dream to come to
Minnesota, who urged the Circuit Court of Appeals. This letter was previously reported on, but has never been more important than today. Because after a magistrate judge refused to sign the Don Lemon criminal complaint, the federal government filed what is called a writ of mandamus, trying to get a district court judge, which is right above a magistrate federal court judge, of a magistrate. And as this district court judge said, quote, "This is the first time I have heard of any petition for a writ of mandamus.
Okay.
The United States did not have the courtesy to tell me that they would be filing such a petition, nor did the United States serve the petition on me. Apparently, I'm supposed to guess what the petition is about and guess what the mandamus petition says and then respond." Goes on to say that The U.S. attorney notified him that his office wanted a district judge to review the magistrate judge's decision, either by hearing an appeal of that decision or by considering the application de novo. It is important to emphasize that what the U.S. attorney requested is unheard of in our district, or, as best as I can tell, any other district in the 8th Circuit. He surveyed adults, some of whom have been in the district for over 40 years. And
let's go.
Under control ICE officer, and then crazily kicking in a new and very expensive government vehicle, so hard and violent, in fact, that the taillight broke off in pieces. It was quite a display of abuse and anger for all to see, crazed and out of control. The ICE officer was calm and cool, not an easy thing to be under the circumstances. He's referring to a video that was recently released showing Alex Preddy engaging with officers 13 days before he was murdered. They are using that video now, as you can see, to smear Alex Preddy. Now, at the same time, we're still gaining more information right now about essentially next steps for Don Lemon, next steps for the Alex Preddy investigation, and also next steps for the government funding deadline. Remember last night when I reported that there was a deal to end the shutdown? Yeah, well, looks as though that deal may actually be in trouble. Because overnight, Lindsey Graham stormed into Senate Majority Leader John Thune's office and essentially said that he did not like the deal. So you now have a Republican senator potentially blowing up the deal that was executed by Leader Schumer's office and Republicans. If there is not a deal reached by tonight, the government will enter a partial government shutdown, and ICE funding, Department of Homeland Security funding, will effectively be frozen. And so today is a very busy day on Capitol Hill. Today is a very consequential day in the United States of America, because for the first time of the Trump 2 term, Donald Trump has arrested and indicted a journalist, Don Lemon. This is a path toward authoritarianism. Now, it's pretty interesting. A lot of people have messaged me and said, Aaron, sometimes you are too hair on fire. Sometimes you say things that will never happen. Sometimes you are too hyperbolic. I'm not. Because if you know the evidence in the Don Lemon case, you know there was not enough to charge him. And yet they did so anyway. Now is the time, in my opinion, to be angry. Because if Don Lemon was today, I could be tomorrow. We cannot stop fighting for the truth in this moment. I won't stop fighting for the truth. Make sure to subscribe to my Substack by clicking the link below to support my work. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Get this everywhere. People need to know Don's story today. See you soon.
Okay, so what y'all think about that? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me. We're gonna go to another video.
Oversight, where since then multiple immigrants have been hurt, harmed, and killed. We should have woken up. So if you ever needed another wake-up call, it's today. What are you going to do? What are you going to find within your toolbox to do? Now is the time to open the toolbox to pick up what is in your hands to do. It's not, if we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, be clear about what it said. It wasn't just about, we hold these truths. No, you have to live these truths. You have to exercise your full responsibility toward these truths. And after you do that in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, there's a way you're supposed to go about it to protect it. That is what we are. That's where we are. We have to take it back from them. This ain't about MAGA. This is about making it be true to what it said it was going to be about anyway.
And I've got one more question for you, Angela. Hold tight 1 second if you can. I want to let Rick go. Rick, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're very welcome, and I just want to say that was brilliant. That was like, want to stand up and salute on that just now, because I don't want to see modern day Bull Connor in camo on the streets of any goddamn American city. I don't want to see
If you guys would like
the people
to
who
donate
carry
to
the pocket
channel,
constitutions around and wave them around in Congress, deciding they can skip over the First and the Second and the Fourth and the Fifth and the Sixth and the 10th and the 14th Amendments when they choose to, like it's some sort of menu in a restaurant. Y'all keep up the pressure. I hope that we will see Don out today. These people are abusing power in a way that we've never seen before. But I appreciate you guys having me on today. Free Don Lemon. Stay strong, everybody. Remember the words of the Clash. When they kick in your front door, how you gonna come? With your hands on your head or on the trigger of your gun? Let's go. These people have absolutely no right to do this to Don. They will do it to more people if we let them get away with it. All right, folks.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Rick. Thank you, Rick Wilson. We appreciate you. Angela, you have been in, not just in politics, but in the movement, in the civil rights movement in this country for years and years, and frankly on front lines and in leadership positions. And we played a little bit ago a bit from Leader Jeffrey's press conference. We've put on the screen the statement from Mayor Bass. I am wondering, just in terms of getting in the concerns of our people, that their leaders are not doing enough. What, when we have days like today where unthinkable, unacceptable things happen, what should we be demanding from our leadership, and what do you expect to see from our leaders in Congress and across this country?
Well, I know my good sister Reese has this too, but I'll say this is one of those times where it's not just about calling your elected officials, it's also about going to see them. Right? This is not just about making sure that your name is counted in the number of people who said abolish ICE. This is not a tally day. This is a day that says, I need to actually hear back from you. Like, say it with me. This is what you're going to do. That you will actually hold the line. That you're not holding the line until it gets uncomfortable. That you're worried about your approval ratings or whether or not you'll get that one or two other seats in the midterms. This is not a midterm strategy. This is a right now strategy. This is not even a Black History Month strategy. It's still January 30th. So this is your January 30th marching order. Do what needs to be done to ensure the people in this country are protected. That is the requirement. You have to get creative. If you have to sit down and have a conversation with the House or Senate parliamentarian, so be it. But figure out what your tools are. Again, this goes right back to the heart of, we have to all use the tools within our toolboxes. All of them are different. We the people have to apply pressure. We the people have to stand together. My argument actually is, Joy's on live right now. Mo, you all are on live right now. We're about to do a live right now. We need to have one big live.
Hold on, guys. I think it's feedback on their side.
Pass one. If you are a sitting judge, make sure that you uphold the law. Not as Donald Trump wants it, but the truth of the law. If you are a law firm who has pro bono services to give, hours to give them.
Thank you, Nurse 59.
If you are someone who has a really good idea that you know would help us overcome this moment, which, by the way, I disagree with Rick on, we have seen this before in this country in every single era. There's a reason there was a Reconstruction period. This country was built on the very thing they're doing right now. The reason why they could reference a KKK act, even errantly, of 1871 is because it was needed in 1871, which is after slavery allegedly ended. But then there was sharecropping, but I'll save that for y'all till February 1st, the 100th anniversary, by the way. But I'm just saying, now is the time for all of us to lay ego aside, to lay our fears aside, to come together to do what is necessary to preserve and protect the little bit of freedom we have. And perhaps we make a gain. But I am not going to surrender quietly. I'll tell you that. I'm going to cover this press conference. I'm going to make sure we have this girl's back. Georgia is just as significant as Don.
Yes.
These other two activists are just as important as Don. And every single one of them deserve to be protected because they were doing the right thing.
And one of the things I said before you came on, Angela, because we watched that video of Georgia inside her home and speaking about how her children were in there and the kind of fear she lives in. And she came on my show a couple of days ago and was saying she wanted to go and cover something, but the way that they were putting their sights on journalists, putting their weapons in journalists' faces, she didn't even feel safe to do it. And that's the intimidation that they're aiming for. But even my point, Angela, was, and you and the law know this, plenty of people have committed crimes, first of all, because these people didn't commit any,
right,
but have committed heinous crimes and have been allowed to self-present with their attorneys. This is a show. This is an intimidation show where they're saying, we're going to come snatch you out of your bed, get you in the middle of the night, have masks on, embarrass you, humiliate you, whatever we can to try to keep you from showing up. So that's why I think your comment is so well timed and important, that we have to do the opposite.
We got to. And I will just say this too. Our show Native Land Pod went to Minneapolis on Tuesday. And we had a live town hall. And when I'm telling y'all, it was up against the recommendation of all of our family members, some of our show members, like, don't do this. But you know, when you just feel called. And so you go where you feel called. You do what you have to do. Georgia joined us. And you hear the conviction of her. Georgia said her greatest inspiration is Ida B. Wells. And you can see Ida B. Wells just like dwelling within and around her. And what I would say to every single one of us is that there's an obligation to protect Ida B. Wells in ways that she wasn't protected then. And we have a modern day one now. And we should protect her at all costs. I'm saying to you all that I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but I know that we are and should be prepared. I know that with the strength, even with these three sitting right here, we can move mountains, y'all. We just have to believe just a little bit that it's possible. There are folks who are counting on us. The folks in Minneapolis, they're tired. In Minnesota, because the Twin Cities, St. Paul too, right? Yeah. They're tired. They have been working hard. We have to lift their arms up in this moment. The way we do that is speaking truth to power, is platforming what they're doing. I'm going to get off in just a moment to go live for their press conference. There are people who we need to hear from, y'all. We've got to lean in and support them. What would you want for the folks sitting at home? What would you want someone to do for you in this hour when you were just doing your job? And that is the obligation that we have to do right now.
And I thank you. I appreciate you. I know you have to bounce. We want to be able to put up the press conference. We don't have a secure stable on it, so we're going to keep on working on that. But everybody, Angela, please tell them where they can find you, because you're about to hop off of here. And at the same time, I'm bringing on Adam Mockler, political commentator. But please tell us where we can find you for all the things.
Yes, at Native Land Pod for right now, at Angela Rye on Instagram. Thank you to my sisters, fellow attorneys, Monique Presley, Reese Colbert. I love y'all. Thank you so much for all you do every day, because I don't get to tell you enough. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you.
Reese, Adam is joining us. Hi, welcome, Adam Mockler. But I just wanted to, before we get comment from Adam, Reese, if you had any thoughts about the things we just heard in the past 10 minutes. And by the way, welcome everybody who is still here, everybody who is joining to the Don Lemon Show, the Don Lemon YouTube channel, and wherever you're watching, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I don't know all the places we are right now. Please like this video. Please subscribe. We're here in this elongated marathon of a show because our host, Don Lemon, was arrested, was taken into federal custody around midnight in Los Angeles. He's currently being detained at a federal detention facility, and we are waiting for his release. That is what we are doing. We are waiting for his release, and we are talking to people who are out here in these journalism and political and commentating streets about their thoughts. Reese.
Well, I want to
So with that being said, everybody, we're gonna cover this story, and we can't wait to hear what Don Lemon has to say after he is released. I'm sure that's gonna skyrocket everybody for for Don Lemon. And it's sad that Don Lemon have to go through this type of situation, being separated for his loved ones for a crime that he did not commit. So, we're going to continue to cover this story because I'm sure it's going to be updated and Don Lemon will be home soon. So, we'll definitely cover this, y'all. This was a spur of the moment type of thing. We wanted to get it into the algorithms. So, please bear with us on this live. But definitely, gang, you're going to be hearing from us. Going to keep on doing what we do on this YouTube streets, and that's informing people. So we see what they're trying to do in the media. They're trying to silence media people. So which this keeps everybody aware, because if this continue to happen, we're going to continue to put it out, and the media is going to speak. That's something that that's our amendment right, gang. So we can't let these people take it away to switch the narrative. We see what's going on with this administration, but we're going to keep on covering it. So we want to thank everybody for coming. Please smash that like button, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you're not a subscriber. Thank you guys for watching. I'm C-Dub, Mr. I ain't said a word, but you know what I'm saying. And I said, damn, we are Band-Aid Gang. We beat you on this channel, and we with the real
Angel.
Thank you guys for coming in. Peace and love, gang. Band-Aid Gang. And we out. Peace.
Bye.